Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Lee and we're doing another day of Junk Journal July for 2024. So this challenge is hosted by Meg from Meg Journals. We're up to day 13, but I'm going to combine day 13 and day 14 together on this one. I've sort of got an idea in my mind and I found a piece of paper that, this one, makes me think of light and weather. It's got a lovely pink and grey sky with those stormy looking clouds in the foreground, and they look like they've got sunlight touching the tops of them. So that's where I'm going with my weather and light for this one. So I have a couple of other bits and bobs on my desk and some papers, and I'm trying to keep this one, well I'm going to try and keep this one light and airy, and there won't be anything too dark or anything that contrasts too much. So what I'm going to do is add a bit more of that paper from the previous day, so day 12 packaging, and I'm going to use it to strengthen up the right hand page. And I'll probably add in a couple more bits of paper, but as I say, nothing too bright, just all quite subdued and light in colour. I never really liked this packaging paper and I didn't keep very much of it over the time that I've been collecting that type of product. I think it's the colour that I don't like, the colour of the paper. And then I've watched a couple of videos where people have used it, and I particularly like that technique of gluing and squeezing or pinching the paper to get those bits of texture in it. That's on the left hand side, and I used it extensively on day 12s. So I really like the way that looks, and then you can paint over the top of it, so it works really well. So I'm just going to tear my cloud out. Try and keep a little bit of that lovely sky in there, but if it disappears, well, that's just what happens, isn't it, when you're creating something. We just go with the flow. You start off with an idea in your head, and through necessity, I think these ideas have to be changed and adapted as we go along. So I don't like straight edges on my pieces of paper. So I've torn that off, and that's my cloud. You can still see a little bit of the sky, but not a great deal. So I have my rhubarb stock ink here, and I'm just using a piece of, it's a foam tube used for packaging. So I've been using it as an ink dauber. I find it really good because the ink doesn't soak into it because it's polystyrene. It makes a great ink dauber. And the first person that I saw using that, one of them for that reason, was Eva from Bohemian Crafting. So I thought that was a great idea. And if the end of it gets a bit, manky, you can just tear it off or cut it off, and you've got a fresh bit. So I've got probably about 2 feet of that foam. So yeah, it's very handy. So these are those lighter coloured papers that I was talking about. So I really love this one, and it's super pale pink, and I love green and pink together. So I'm going to put that over on this right hand side. And I'll end up putting the cloud behind this piece of paper. When I first stuck it down, I didn't do that. I was going to put the cloud over it. But I changed my mind and I was able to lift up that piece of paper and get the cloud in underneath. So I hope everybody's been enjoying watching my videos throughout the challenge. I've certainly enjoyed making my pages, I can tell you that much. I've had a few issues though with recordings and accidentally deleting things off the computer, and yeah, so you know what they say about old people and technology. Yes, so I lost my recording for yesterday's postcard, so I didn't have a video for that day. And then I thought I should give myself a break, and that's why I was so glad to find that piece of paper with the cloud on it, so I could combine the 2 days together, and just to take a little bit of pressure off myself. And I've got visitors for the weekend too, which it'd be nice not to be rushing off to the computer while I've got visitors. I'm a little bit disorganised. I really should have had my filming schedule worked out a bit better. Never mind. We'll get there. I do like this Yoo-hoo glue. I find it really quite good. It's the best of the stick glues that I've used since I've been doing this type of stuff. So I've got a couple of distress inks here. I've got antique linen and I've got tea dye, and I want to put some stamping into this this page. And I wanted these colours. I picked them because they were just subtle colours. So I'm just going to stamp on my waste paper there to see which one I like the best, and I end up using the tea dye. I think it's got more of the pink and peachy tones that are in some of those bits of paper. Okay, now I've got a bit of gesso, so I'm just going to put a little bit of gesso over my joins, so where my paper is glued on, just to blend everything in a little bit. I love the colour of that watercolour paint that's on that scrap of paper just near my finger there. And now I'm going to put some of that tea dye ink onto an acrylic block and water it down, and just put a few little splashes here and there. And I'm just smushing down the last little bit that's left on that acrylic block, just so it doesn't go to waste. Now what I'm going to do is to just put a little bit of an edge on the page. I'm going to use a orangey coloured Stabilo woody, so that's a pencil, so it's water soluble. But I chose the orange one because it's not a real orangey orange, it's more of a gold, and I sort of like the way it just adds a tiny little bit of brightness to this page without being overwhelming. That is my Stabilo pencil black that I'm writing on there. I'm putting the page numbers on there. So 13 and 14. And I want to do some writing on this, and I'm really hesitant. And I ended up being brave enough to do it. So I like a band from the 80s and 90s. It's an Australian band called Crowded House, and they have a song in which there's a line. It says, "Everywhere you go, always take the weather with you." So that's what I'm writing on here. Don't ask me why I wrote that bit first and then went above it. I think maybe I was just going to leave it with that second part of the sentence and then change my mind. Just going to give a little bit of an outline with the black Stabilo, and I will highlight the corners as well. And I do believe that I do a little bit of scribbling on the edge of the page. So I've got some white gesso, and I'm just going to add some spatters of white gesso just in my opposite corners, so bottom left, top right. It's a really simple thing to do, but it does add impact. Makes it easy to know where the boundaries of the page are too. So, you know, you're not wondering, is that part of the page underneath that I can see? So you know exactly what you're looking at. So there we go, completed page, day 13, day 14, so light and weather. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it's given you an idea of how you can tackle those prompts. And don't forget that you can share this video. You can share it on your own Facebook page, or you can share it to friends and family. Please hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment, and subscribing is free, so if you subscribe to my channel then you'll know when I put out a new video. So until then, happy creating, hugs and cheers from Australia, hooroo.